Breaking news this hour, an emergency situation at Redstone Arsenal today. There are reports of an active shooter at Redstone at the Sparkman Center.
We're told they are on lockdown status. The first alert from Madison County officials came out this morning just before 10 o'clock. And by 10:30, the lockdown was put into place and all installation gates were closed, locking everyone from either going in or going out. Officials say they are not sure yet what triggered this incident, nor can they confirm nor deny any terrorism activity going on, which is huge risks for more than 40,000 people that are on Redstone Arsenal every day. Our Christina Ellsworth is live right there at Gate 9 with the latest developments. Christina. Again, that was Chris Colster, the spokesman for the Redstone Arsenal, and we are learning more in this developing story. Again, this is 40,000 workers of the largest employer in North Alabama, including the FBI, Hazardous School Devices, the Army, the Department of Defense, the ATF, and many, many more. Now, we don't know a whole lot right now, but we are learning more. Our Austin Winfield is on site at Gate 1 on Martin Road, and he is going to join us now with more developing insights. Austin.
Until then, we'll send it back to the studio.
All right, thank you, Austin. And it was actually very ironic today. We learned that tomorrow there was a set active shooting drill, but today it was tweeted out that Redstone Arsenal again says this is not a drill. This is a real world event, which is not part of an exercise. The facility is under lockdown and all gates are closed. Again, more information to come. Now, the Army spokeswoman Kim Hansen did report that there was reports of a shooter at Building 5301, the Aviation and Missile Command building at the Post-Sparkman Center, like we saw on the map just there. There's also been reports of an Army email sent to facility personnel and relatives that there was more explicit information coming in saying an active shooter was on the building's second floor. But again, we have not gotten confirmations of that. Police are working at the scene. Again, nobody's coming in, nobody's leaving. As Christina Ellsworth reported, do not even try to go over there if you're curious. Just stay at home, stay in a safe place, and we will continue to update to see all the 40,000 people, all those workers right there, what's happening over in that area. Again, that was Chris Colster, a spokesperson for Redstone Arsenal. He was just mentioning about no word yet on a potential active shooter. And again, there was a drill set for tomorrow, but a lot of people were confused by this, but again, the Redstone Arsenal tweeted out today that this is not a drill and that this is a very real-world event, which is not part of the exercise. The facility is under lockdown and all gates are closed. If you are just joining us, there is an emergency situation at the Redstone Arsenal today of an active shooter at the Redstone Sparkman Center. We are also told at this time that all those on the Arsenal are following the proper protocol that they have been asked to do. We've been told that people are very cooperative with officials and that they are very much appreciated. The lockdown status will remain in place until further notice. Officials say that many on the Arsenal have been trained to run, hide, and fight, as we heard multiple times from Chris Colster, the spokesperson for Redstone Arsenal. Yeah, a lot of people affected. You know, the FBI, Hazardous Devices School, the Army, the Department of Defense, ATF, and many, many more. As you mentioned, 40,000 workers, the largest employer in North Alabama. And we've just gotten word that there have been reports of multiple shooters at this time. We earlier thought that there might be just one, but possible multiple. But of course, we have not had that confirmed yet. So stay with us and we will confirm that if that is accurate or not. They also cannot confirm whether anyone is injured at this time or if any shots were actually fired. We are expecting another update to come at 1 o'clock. But until then, we will continue to keep you updated on air and online. If you are heading out and you cannot follow this newscast, just check out rocketcitynow.com throughout the rest of the afternoon. And some people were confused, not surprisingly, because tomorrow is really an active shooter drill that people, you know, it's another day in the books, and but today was the real thing. So a lot of people were surprised by that. They were confused. But again, Redstone Arsenal is tweeting out that this is not a drill. This is a real world event, which is not part of the exercise. The facility is under lockdown, a very scary situation. But as we've been getting word, a lot of people are very calm. They've been very cooperative with officials, which is very much appreciated. We have been getting some reports that are a little bit scary that of an active shooter at Building 5301, the Aviation and Missile Command building, and that was from Army spokeswoman Kim Hansen. She says that it happens at the Post-Sparkman Center, and a lot of officials, as you can see there in this live picture, officials are out at Gate 9 and throughout all the gates just to make sure that everything is going to be safe, taking care of this active shooter drill that is happening as we speak. And of course, this is making national headlines, and we've got some updates from Christina Ellsworth, who is at Gate 9 live with some developing reports. Christina. And again, if you are joining us, you are looking at live pictures of the scene officers just outside Gate 9 at the Redstone Arsenal, where they have been getting reports of an active shooter. An emergency situation is underway. We're told they are on lockdown status. All 40,000 workers, the largest in North Alabama. We're told that they are on lockdown status. The first alert from Madison County officials came out again this morning at 10 o'clock, just before 10 o'clock, and by 10:30 the lockdown was put into place. All installation gates were closed, locking everyone from either going in or going out. We're told at this time all those on the Arsenal are following that protocol. They are working really well with officials, and they are very much appreciated. They are being asked to do everything at the lockdown status will remain in place until further notice. Now, Army spokeswoman Kim Hansen did get reports that there was a shooter at Building 5301. We have also learned that there might be potentially multiple shooters. The Building 5301 is at the Aviation and Missile Command building at the post at Sparkman Center, and that's where officials do believe that if anything happened, it did stem from the Sparkman Center. And as we learned earlier, that Redstone did tweet out that this is a real-world event, which is not part of an exercise. The facility is under lockdown and all gates are closed. Now, we learned that tomorrow they were going to have an active shooter drill like they often do multiple times throughout the year. So some people were a little bit surprised and confused by this, thinking this might not be the real thing, but this really is the real thing. Sit tight. I know sometimes you're just trying to check on your phone, hoping that they're going to be responsive to tell you that they're okay. But a lot of times they leave their phone and they are cooperative with authorities and they go to their safe spot. So again, sit tight. Redstone Arsenal tweeted that the possible active shooter on the Arsenal is in full swing. The installation is locked down. Run, hide, and fight. And we're learning what that means from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. What does it mean to run, hide, fight? They did open Gate 1 so far. That's all that we've learned that they've opened. And there has been a lot of traffic congestion. And so a lot of patience with that, and a lot of patience as we learn more about this, whether anybody was injured. We've been receiving reports that nobody has been injured, but we will continue to wait for the 1 o'clock presser where we'll get more information. Now, if you're just joining us, let's look back at the timeline. This is a developing story that has been lasting all morning into this afternoon. It looks like at about 9:59 we got reports of an emergency situation this morning. At 10:29 we got reports of an active shooter on RSA Sparkman Center. That personnel were in lockdown. About 10:33 we got word that Redstone placed in lockdown status, and 11:16 the shooter situation is still active, shelter in place until further notice, and that continues until the present time right now.
Yeah, and we did see
And we are just learning that not only is there potentially one shooter, but there is multiple, and that this could actually be a hostile situation. Again, we are learning more as we are here, and we will bring you the latest developments. If you are just joining us, earlier there, Redstone Arsenal has been on lockdown status from about 9:59 this morning. As soon as they got the report of an emergency situation, we're told that all of the personnel and workers at this time at the Arsenal are following the protocol. They have been very cooperative with officials, which they very much appreciate. A lot of people have left their cell phones even, just trying to be obedient to all of the lockdown drills. And it's a little bit surprising for people today because, again, like we heard from Chris Colster, the spokesperson for the Redstone Arsenal, some people did not think that this was an active shooter drill, that this was the real thing, because tomorrow they have another one set up, so they thought that this was a part of it. And as we've been learning from Chris, this is a multiple day type of active shooter response drill, but today is the real thing. Again, we learned from Team Redstone this morning from Twitter that this is a possible active shooter situation on the Arsenal, and installation is locked down. Run, hide, fight, they say. All right, thank you, Ben. And of course, this is a national story. making a lot of headlines across the nation with 42,000 workers, the largest employer in North Alabama, potentially an active shooter at the Redstone Arsenal. A lot of people in lockdown, a lot of family members and friends at home hoping that their loved one's safe. The good news is we have learned that there are no injuries at this time, and we have learned there might potentially be a hostile situation with multiple shooters. And the FBI and officials have been out working there trying to secure the area. Again, as we learned from Austin Winfield, Gate 1 is the only one open, but they are, of course, not letting anybody in. All right, thank you, Austin. As we just learned from him, there was another serious incident reportedly in Huntsville, and so they're opening up Gate 7 and 9 both ways. People can enter and exit. But as we know, still right now, about 42,000 workers are still on lockdown at the Redstone Arsenal. As you can see, some people are going in and out of the gates now. Earlier, we were seeing that they were all completely locked down with the exception of Gate 1, with people being only able to leave the premise with high congestion with traffic. But now it looks like Gate 7 and 9 are open both ways, but still security personnel are taking precautions. But there is at this time another serious incident reportedly in Huntsville where police officials feel they need to address and take care of. We're not sure exactly where that is at this time. And we just learned that all gates have been opened both ways except for Gate 1. And Gate 1 is just allowing cars to leave the Redstone Arsenal, so that hopefully is good news. Again, this is 40,000 workers affected by this. And as Chase mentioned, if you are not getting a word back from your loved one from your cell phone, they're not texting you back, they're not calling you back, don't worry too much, as we learned from Chris Colster, because some of them are just following the proper protocol and leaving their cell phones behind as they take proper shelter. So hopefully we will get more information on the status of them, but this looks like it's good news. You can see some cars leaving. That's right, and as we just heard from Chris Colster, the spokesperson for Redstone Arsenal, there are no arrests confirmed at this time, no casualties confirmed. There is going to be a presser at 1 o'clock, so continue to stay here on WZDX News. We will address that and get them back on camera to give us the latest developments. Again, a lot of people are going home from the Redstone Arsenal. The gates have been opened for both ways at all gates except for Gate 1. We're told that Gate 1 is closed for anybody who to come in, but people can go both ways at this time. Hopefully a good sign. And again, if you have not heard from your loved one, as Chris Colster mentioned, don't feel too stressed about that. They are probably just following proper protocol. There's been no reports of anybody arrested at this time. And I can only imagine for the 42,000 workers at the Redstone Arsenal, the largest employer in North Alabama, is kind of a scary day on the edge of their seats, not sure what was happening. But again, this is kind of surprising and confusing for some at times because they think, oh, maybe this is a part of it. And as we learned from Chris Colster, the spokesperson, that this takes a couple days to do these active shooter drills. So today might have been a little bit confusing for people, but it looks like since the gates are opened, it's looking like it's a little bit safer, hopefully, out there at Redstone Arsenal today. Right, we're talking about the FBI, Hazardous Devices School, the Army, the Department of Defense, ATF, and several other companies. So again, 40,000 people being affected by this at least, and this is getting national coverage. But as we learned from Austin Winfield, at this time, people have been leaving all the gates except for Gate 1. Nobody has been coming in through that gate at this time as we know it. But a lot of traffic congestion, just trying to get home to loved ones. And what we know so far from Chris Colster, the spokesperson for the Redstone Arsenal, that it was not a terrorist event is what they believe at this point. There was weapons used on the arsenal, but they are not sure how they've been used. There have been no reports of any arrests or casualties confirmed at this time. Again, in about 20 minutes, we will hear back from Chris Colster, the representative for the Redstone Arsenal. All right, thank you, Rebecca. Again, she was at Gate 7 at the Redstone Arsenal, giving us a little bit of an update. And we did get some tweets that we've been seeing across the board from Alabama leaders. Senator Luther Strange tweeted today in response to the Redstone Arsenal lockdown, "I'm paying close attention to updates on the ongoing situation at Team Redstone, and my prayers are with all affected."
Representative Mo Brooks tweeted, monitoring Team Redstone active shooter situation. Please stay alert with updates. Praying for all of those on base.
And our governor, Kay Ivey, tweeted, my office is being updated about the situation at Team Redstone. I will continue to closely monitor and pray for a peaceful and quick resolution. All right, that was Chris Colster, the spokesperson for the Redstone Arsenal, and we are learning more from our Rebecca Petit, who joins us right now. Rebecca.
Yes, Jen and Chase.
Jen, he gave us some new information.
That's right. He told us the investigation is ongoing. They still believe there was an active shooter on Sparkman. Now, some reporters were asking, why is it taking so long? It's been nearly 3 hours. And he addressed that, the investigation is very methodical. There are 74 organizations. And, it takes some time to go through each one of the buildings and make sure that everybody is safe and secure and through the protocol. And people have been very patient with law enforcement officials. They told us that the FBI has been involved, as well as the Redstone Arsenal Police and the Huntsville Police, so they have been doing a great job to make sure everybody's safe. But this lockdown has been lifted, and so they do not believe that there is a threat at this time, which is of course some good news. And it all kind of spiraled this morning about 9:59. The first line of defense is, of course, when you see something, say something, and apparently that's what we've learned so far. We don't know exactly what that is, but we will continue to give you more information as we get it. All right, thank you, Christina. She is live right now at Gate 9 at Redstone Arsenal. Christina Aylesworth reporting for WZDX News. Now, we just have received word that the Primrose School of Madison was earlier on lockdown. I'm not sure quite at this point if they are continually on lockdown, but they have been affected. We are just, of course, related to this event. So as we learned from the Chris Colstar, the spokesperson for the Redstone Arsenal, the investigation continues. It is ongoing. They have been taking their time, methodically thinking this out, and it does take some time to make sure that everybody's safe. All the gates have been open for people to go home to their loved ones, but it does take some time to go through every building. 74 organizations, again, at Redstone Arsenal, and they are following proper protocol for each organization. As you can imagine, it's been a very long day for officials with the FBI, the Redstone Arsenal Police, and the Huntsville Police trying to get to all of these places and make sure that everybody is okay. At this time, we have learned from Chris Colster, the representative for the Redstone Arsenal, that they don't think anybody's been injured, which is great news, of course. There is an active shooter investigation still ongoing, of course. They're not sure if there was one person, multiple persons, or if this was just all confusion. We have no information at this point, but somebody did see something and say something which shut down 74 organizations at the Redstone Arsenal. And as we just saw with the live picture, the gates have been opened. People are welcome to go home, and there's a lot of traffic congestion at all the gates, but they are all still continuing proper protocol for every single day. And so that is why it's taking quite a bit of time for people to get home or to their next destination from the Redstone Arsenal.
As we near the 1 o'clock hour, this all started just before 10 o'clock, where we did receive that alert that there was a report of an active shooter.
We did check in with Huntsville Hospital to solidify the fact that there has been no injuries coming from the Redstone Arsenal, which is of course great news. And we have learned from representatives at the Redstone Arsenal that they don't think that this is a terrorist event at this time. They are of course suspicious of some activity that went on earlier this morning starting about 9:59. They are still updating us with the latest developments, but in the meantime we will continue to update you as we get the more developments. To follow any updates and get the latest information, just head over to our website. We will keep you updated all day long. It's rocketcitynow.com. And we are waiting to get the official word back from the officials at Redstone Arsenal. We will continue to break in to your programming just with any updates that are very pertinent to your information. So we will get that up for you. But thank you so much for joining us here at WZDX News with this special report live coverage of the breaking at Redstone Arsenal. We'll turn you back over to your live programming.